heard the saying, happy wife, happy life. While I don't completely agree with all the sentiments behind that statement, but that is another topic for another video, I would ask, what if the reason you're unhappy wife isn't anybody else's fault but your own? But before I get into all that, let me welcome you back to my channel. My name is Ayana, and this is Beyond Committed, where we talk about everything from life, faith, family, marriage, motherhood, and everything in between, and we take them beyond. If this is your first time here, welcome, and I'm so glad you stopped by. And to make sure you're not a stranger, make sure you press the subscribe button below and turn on your notifications so you don't miss a video. All right, now let's dive right in. Marriage is a journey that takes you through so many ups and downs. And not just with you as a couple, but with you as a wife. There are so many things that you go through, so many circumstances that happen, so many things that others may do to you, your husband or somebody else, that kind of will take you kind of through the roller coaster ride of it all. And at times there are things that, can make you unhappy, some things that, you wish you can change, or some things that kind of have you like, side-eyeing this wife life sometimes. I mean, it can be overwhelming. I know for me, I have found myself just recently kind of just being unhappy with some things, realizing that, okay, well, this is happening, not the way that I want. My husband is not doing the things that I want. He's not, catering to me the way that I want, or he's not loving me in my love language in a way that I can see and feel it. So I'm just getting frustrated and overwhelmed. And then when you throw my kids in there, it's like, okay, you know what? This right here, this is for the birds. It's just extra. And I just feel, overwhelmed, and there's a lot of pressure. And it causes me to just be unhappy with the situation or circumstances that I found myself in. Yet, as I took a pause, and took a few days of me kind of feeling like, okay, I'm just unhappy and things just aren't working right and all these things, I realized that, okay, maybe it's not all about the circumstances. Maybe it's not all about what my husband is or is not doing. Maybe it's not about anybody else but me. And when I had that honest, kind of self-conversation, I realized that oftentimes as wives, there are some things that we allow within our own thoughts, the myths and the lies that we believe that get us stuck, that can cause us to be unhappy with our situation and our circumstances. And it is those things. So we have to make sure that we are stopping dead in their tracks. We're not allowing those negative thoughts to become things, which I know I was doing at that time and have done many times before. So I realized that, after I took a pause and, kind of unpack some things for myself, there are 3 myths that us as wives have to make sure we're not holding on to or believing, so we're not causing our own unhappiness. One myth that you may believe that can lead you to being an unhappy wife is believing that if my husband would just ... you fill in the blank, everything would be better. Now, while there are things that your husband can do better, improve on, grow in, stop doing all of the things, because he is far from perfect, the truth is, so are we. We are far from perfect as well. There are some things that we can do better. There are some things that we can stop doing. There are some ways that we can grow. And in marriage, it's about us doing it together. It's about staying committed to doing the work together, keeping God at the center while we do it. But it's about both of us putting in the work. Your husband can't be the only one doing anything, and you can't be the only one doing anything. However, if you feel like you're the only one doing anything, realize that you're the only one that you can control. You're the only one that you can change. And that was something that once I had that light bulb moment go off, I was like, okay, yes, I would like my husband to do this or stop doing this or grow in this way. However, if he doesn't, what am I going to do about it? I can't sit there holding my breath, waiting for him to do something, even if I shared it with him, and expecting because he does this one thing, everything's going to change. Because that's just not the reality of married life. That's just not the reality of real life. There's so many moving parts. There's so many pieces that, fit within our lives that as we do one thing, something else may or may not happen. And we don't have control over that. So I would encourage you, if you are holding on to that, if my husband would just, everything would be better, please let it go. You would be amazed how much freedom it gives you, how much it relieves the pressure or the weight you carry or you're placing on your husband, the expectations that you're placing on him that he may or may not ever meet. But at the end of the day, if you're both committed to doing the work, that you both are committed to making things better, it will be better and you will be a happier wife. And the second myth that us wives believe that often lead us to be an unhappy wife is that things will never change. And they might not. However, if you are holding on to that sentiment, if you are holding on to that belief, then how are you working towards things actually changing? How are you putting hope in the fact that things could change? How are you praying for change if you have just decided that it's not changing? You're not. And that is often leading you to being in your feelings, to being unhappy, to being kind of stuck where you are, and allowing you not to truly just move forward past whatever the situation is, even if it has been like that for years. I mean, things may not have changed, but that doesn't mean they won't. Because if you look at your life, if you look over the last few months or the last few years, there has been a lot about you. There's a lot about your husband. There's been a lot of things within your lives that have changed. And it may not have been big changes, maybe small changes along the way, but change is inevitable. That's one of the things we cannot control. However, if we're looking for a particular change, then we have to be willing to put in the work and to hold on to belief that things will never change. Then we're holding on to this negative pattern. We're holding on to this, okay, this will never change. So what difference does it make? Well, actually, it makes a lot of difference. It may not change the circumstances, but it can change your attitude. It can change your perspective, and also can take you from being an unhappy wife to a content, joy-filled, happy wife, being okay with, okay, Lord, this is where you have me right now. It may not be where I want to be, but this is where you have me, and I will be content in it. I will seek you to see how can I, even love my husband well in the midst of the things that I wish that would change. And then grow me, help to change me, realizing that at the end of the day, there's so much that we need to grow in, that if we are putting all the pressure on the things and the circumstances or even our husbands to change, it kind of, constricts our ability to seek God in ways that helps us to grow and change ourselves, whether it's just our attitude or perspective. It's so important that as wives, especially if we want to be happy wives, we can't hold on to the notion that things will never change, because that is a lie that we cannot believe. And the third myth that us as wives often believe that cause us to be unhappy wives is, if my marriage was just like ... or if my husband was just like ... I mean, you fill the blank in with the couple or the man or whatever situation. And then you are now subscribing to the joy-stealing comparison of it all, which will leave us unhappy every time, because it's so easy to look at somebody else's life, somebody else's situation, somebody else's spouse, and see the great things, see the beauty, see the Instagram moments of it all, and not see the behind the scenes stuff that they actually have to live with. Just like you see the behind the scenes stuff about your husband and your marriage and no one else sees. And in that, we are often making ourselves unhappy because we're looking for our husbands to be someone that they're not, looking for our marriage to be something that it's not, without truly seeking God to see, okay, Lord, there are some things that could be better about both my husband, myself, and my marriage. How do we put in the work together to do the things that are necessary for us to grow and to change and become the couple that we want to be? Not a duplicate or a carbon copy of anybody else, but a couple that honors God, a couple that is committed to doing the work God has called them to do, and a couple that is committed to just having joy in their marriage, despite the circumstances, despite being concerned what everybody else is doing and going and being. It's so important that as wives, we are learning to be more content while also striving to be better. And I think that's a balance, and that's something that it took me a very long time to realize. I often looked at contentment as, okay, well, you're just going to be happy with what you have, and then that's it. But I'm like, no. Yes, I need to be happy with what I have. I need to be happy with my husband. I need to be happy with where we are, whether it's where we live, financially, whatever the case may be. I need to be content in that, yes. But I also can be seeking God for more. I also can be working with my husband for us to grow and strengthen our marriage, our finances, in so many ways that can kind of take us to the next level, realizing that yes, we are to be content with where we are and take inspiration for other people and, kind of grow and learn together in community, because I truly believe it's a village. However, I also believe that God made us all uniquely beautiful, both as individuals and our marriages. So when we compare to other people and when we are thinking like, okay, if my marriage was just like, or my husband was just like, it kind of takes away the beauty of what it is. It takes away the beauty of, how God created you two and in your marriage, and the beauty of which God is going to do on the earth with you too. So I encourage you, if you are ever worrying or wondering if my marriage could be just like, or if my husband would be just like, stop. Don't believe that. Don't even entertain that, because that can be leading to you being unhappy. That can be leading to you lacking contentment. And that can also be leading to you not being able to go and grow in the ways that you want, because you're too busy focused on what somebody else is doing. All right, that's it for today. And I want to know, what's one thing that often leads you to being an unhappy wife? Let me know in the comment box below. And if you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and then make sure you press the subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you don't miss a video. All right, now until I see you again, bye.